Okay, welcome to this little short discussion of your project that's due in Excel. So I'm going to walk you through and explain this project to you a little bit. So first of all, when you go into your assignments, you'll see an Excel project. Right now it's called testing, but you'll see it's going to be called Excel project. What you do is you go into the Excel project and ignore any dates that we have, because I'm going to use this. This is something I'm setting up for testing and whatnot, and to show you. And I'm going to use this video for future semesters. So you use the dates that you're given. Anyhow, so you go into this and you'll see the project, and you'll have the due date that's due for you right there. So ignore this one. This is for explanation purposes only. Your project is worth 50 points. However, for whatever reason, my accounting lab makes me put this little how to enter answers thing here. So I'm going to allow this to stay here because you could consider it like bonus. However, it's not an accounting example, so I'm not going to help you with it. If you need help, that's on you, and it's kind of complicated too. But feel free to try it if you want. And I'll let you get the point if you want. This is the project that you're going to be graded on, and you're going to have to do. So click on this. Now you'll notice here how it's going to work. You're going to download the material. You're going to work the project on your computer. You're going to upload the finished file back into My Accounting Lab, and you submit it for a grade. So let's start by downloading the material. You see the files. So I would just download all the files. I'm downloading the files into Dropbox. I would highly recommend you use a cloud-based location, Google Drive or Dropbox or something that protects your work in case your computer crashes. This is the name of the file, so I'm just going to keep it like this for now and save it to this location. Okay, so now I'm going to do just extract all of these. I'm going to keep them in the same file, and now we have access to it. So you'll see it located right here. And I'll open that one up, and we'll see the files. I opened the first document. That's a Word document, and I want you to notice a few things. It gives you a lot of different steps. However, you'll see that probably going through these is probably not going to be that helpful. The possible points is not correct. That is something that the computer assigns. This project's worth 50 points to you, and your grade book will only assign 50 points. Okay, I opened up the Excel file, and this is where all your work's going to be. You notice tabs down here. The instructions give you information that's specific for your case, and it gives you requirements, right? And it gives you information. So it's really important that you read through every single one of these things to start with. What I would suggest is that you begin, before you even start this project, make sure you've done your homework and make sure you know how to do budgets first. I'll talk about that in a second. So the sales data, this is some more information. This is sales data. It's different for every student, and tells you additional information. So all this stuff is important information, and this is where your work goes. Again, I would definitely practice some budgets. You're going to have to do a sales budget, production budget, material budget, and then a cash budget. Cash budget includes collections and payments. So this is where you're going to be graded here. I would definitely practice this before you make this attempt. Another thing is, if you want to use, if you wanted to try this on another Excel spreadsheet and then bring the information, to kind of track the information as you do it here, that would be great, because you can't add any cells. You can't move this stuff around, because if you move any of this stuff around, it's going to take off. So you have to leave the spreadsheet alone. But if you wanted to work, maybe copy this into another spreadsheet to help you kind of play around with the numbers and then put the final information in here, that would be fine. Another thing that's important that you remember is that you don't want to just dump in the numbers themselves, but you want to attach, you want to link to the proper cell. So for example, unit sales for January projected sales 80,000, but if I type in 80,000 here, that's going to be wrong. You got to do equals, and then you got to link the cell equals. Then they'll allow that to be correct. Now the reason for this is because this is to help you learn Excel. This is to help you learn Excel and to use the new knowledge you know in budgeting. So that's why. So then you find the selling price per bird feeder. So again, if you just go to the instruction, this is selling price per bird feeder, 15 bucks. If you type in 15 here, it's going to be wrong. You need to type in equals, and then you do 15. Then you get it correct. And you can see that goes for all of these numbers all the way down here, and you can see these percentages too. Total sales revenue then, 80,000 times $15 per bird feeder. You can't just type in the right answer. You have to do equals this cell, and then times is an asterisk at this cell, right? The cash sales, so they make sales revenues of 1.2 million. The cash sales, 20% are cash sales, 80% are credit sales. So you need to do equals this, then times 80%, are these cash sales, so 20%, right? Then equals this times 80%, right? Then total sales revenue equals this plus this, right? Or if you wanted to use if you wanted to sum those two numbers, that should be fine also. But you want to use a formula. So you would go down and you would do the same thing for each of these. This unit sales and bird feeders comes from there. Units to be produced comes from number of units to be produced. And then you need to complete the rest of this based on what you've learned in class, what you've learned in doing your budgets, and based on what you know in Excel, learn as you learn Excel. When it comes down time to do the cash payments and cash collection budgets, again, there's information for that. 80% of credit sales, 80% of this 80% is collected the month after the sale. So that's why they give you prior months to help you to do this. 4% is never collected. 10% is the month after the sale. Notice in the instructions, the materials information and when you pay for the material that you buy, right? This information also, you must attach to these numbers here, link to those cells, as they say, and there's even some information here. You can't link to this 120,000 board feet, but you can use that in your calculation. And once you have everything in, we obviously aren't going to get a very good grade here because we don't have everything in, but we're going to go ahead with this and see what happens. Notice it says to create a folder and label it completed Excel projects. Okay, so I have one called completed Excel projects. Now it says to save my folder that you just created and put the date on the end of the file name. So I'm going to File, Save As. So come here and I'm going to put the date. So today's date, let's just say, is the 1st. Not really, but Again, I'm going to use this for multiple semesters, so just put your own dates in. I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to upload. Now notice step 2 is the same file that we looked at earlier, right? This file here that we said wasn't really that helpful. And remember, this is only worth 50 points no matter what these things say. It's fixed in the grade book. Then you upload your file. So we're going to choose the file. So, okay, we're going to choose a file here. You see this? I know it's the right one because I have that date that I used. And I'm going to upload it. Okay, so it says it's been successful. So then I can submit for grading. So then it's submitting it. So now I'll close the project. Alright, so now to review my results, I go back into my accounting lab. I click on the assignment, and I want to find this area that's called the View the Live Comments Report. Okay, so I'm back in the assignments, and I can see my score here. Now remember, it's not going to be very good. We didn't do much of the project. And I see, I got 8.87%. So that wasn't too great. But we can go back over here, and we can see that I got 4.53 out of 50 points. Again, we knew that wasn't going to be good. Notice that you do have 3 attempts for doing this. So I did that on purpose. I wanted you to learn Excel, and so you might have to go back and figure out a few things, just so you know. So now if I want to see where I had some problems, I don't want to click here, because if I do that, it just takes me back to this part where I would attempt it again, download the materials and go through the whole process again. I want to go over here to where it says go to results. So I click there, and then I can review it. See, it gives me some information. So here's the work that I attempted. So here we are. Okay. So I click on this and I continue to review the homework. Okay. Now it gives me a lot of information about where I earned, some of my points. But again, this stuff is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of difficult to read. It does tell you stuff, but it's kind of hard to read. What you really want to do is come down to the live comments report, and we'll save this. I'm going to save it in the same area, and this one has an LC on the front, live comments. So I'm going to save it there, and then I'll go ahead and open it. Okay, let's open that file up. Alright, slow there. Okay, so this should hopefully help us out a little bit more. And what it does is, when you go in here, we see where things are wrong. Now, you notice I got all these files, these numbers correct, because I used formulas. If I had just put in 80,000 here, that would have actually been marked incorrect, right? And it would have told you why. It would have had a little, like, all these have a comment. This one's comment is because of deducted points, because you didn't, it's blank basically. It says in the cell C9 of sheet solutions, the formula was not set to sales data C8. So sales data C8 is right here. So it even gives you some assistance in working this. So hopefully that'll help you out as you work through this and try to figure out how to go about getting full credit on this. So it does give you some really good feedback. So when you're ready to do it again, then you would go back to your assignments and go ahead and go work through the problem again and try to get full credit next time. So hopefully this will help you practice your budgeting, practice cash budgets, which we said are really important, and practice using Excel, which is something that employers want students to have at least a working knowledge on. Hopefully this will help you out, and I'll see you in class.